We can't change
Woke
the
us up.
volume, yeah. Look alive, look alive.
Hi, Christie.
Here.
Oh, sweet. Listen to air
On the bike to walk.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. You have a bus? Yeah. Of course, nice and clean it was.
Just watch it again.
I got a cover.
Boy, he sure made a mess on my car. I noticed the house windows are all clean there, not now.
You know, it brings all that dust, the red dust. What a mess.
That's from the sand dunes.
Yes, I believe.
They're moving over here.
Yeah, they're trying. The wind's helping.
How's your sister? She needs to really consider studying this. Well, I haven't seen a doctor for the end of first time duty, but he told me, he says, okay, it was good for you to be proactive about it. It wasn't a detachment.
It is now 5:30. This is the Westcliff Town Board of Trustees meeting on April 25th, 15th rather, 2025. And we'll start this with a pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor Winkie,
Present.
Mr. Navosky,
Present.
Mr. Yago,
Present.
Mr. Fulton,
Present.
Mr. Nordike,
Present.
Mr. Wilhelm,
Present.
Ms. Patterson. Present. We have a quorum.
Thank you. The consent agenda is in front of you. Minutes from the last meeting, the treasurer's report, and approval of bills. Any questions regarding those items? Hearing none. I entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda. I'll second it.
It's been moved and second. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Old business consideration and request to approve employment contract for the town attorney. We discussed this in an open meeting workshop, and we all agreed to those terms, and the attorney did as well. So I need a motion to approve that contract. For those of you in the audience, we're paying him $14,000 per year, which is a little more than few $100 more than he got in the previous year. It's based on his hourly rate, what he ordinarily would charge, and then the amount of hours that he actually worked for us last year. He has taken a position with, which kind of, anyway, it goes to Springs, to be the assistant, district attorney. And accordingly, he can't have his own practice unless it's as a employee. So he's now an employee of the town. He will get no.
Give me one.
Oh, I apologize. I will. Thank you. That's what you did. Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry. I'll just finish that statement. So he has to be an actually employee of whoever, and he represents 5 other towns. So he's an employee of each of those towns. Now, to everybody here, I apologize for not introducing you. It's right here, and I, recognize the visitors. So let's just start here, and you say name and address, and we'll go on.
Debbie Van Doren, 107 North Adams.
Rich Smith, Custer Sheriff.
Dave Schneider, Round Mountain Water and Sanitation.
Kathy Taylor, Silver Cliff.
Bob Senderhoff, Bill Kanda, Chairman of Custer County Commissioners.
And will the people in the outer room, please, I'm sorry, Jerry.
Jerry Peters, 409 South Fifth.
And the people in the outer office can recognize.
Ashley Ruth with Family Crisis Services.
So,
No. Try now. Can you guys say something?
Are you waiting for me? I'm Stan Wolfson from Clancy Systems.
While we're doing that, the people online, I see Clay there. Would you please introduce you online?
Oh.
Young woman, would you do that?
She just
You're
did.
the only woman there?
She just did.
I'm sorry?
She just did.
Oh, did she? Okay. And the man upper left and the gentleman,
Gentlemen,
the other gentleman
I'm-
logging in?
yeah, I'm Stan Wolfson.
I can't hear him.
I'm from Clear
Okay,
Token.
thank you very
I'm from
much. We're trying to
Clancy
get the names
Systems.
of the other people here.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're trying.
Excuse me?
Say we're trying.
I just need to.
You should be able to hear you.
I see Jordan Hedberg's online.
They should be able to, you should be able to hear them now.
Okay, if the people in the other office can hear me, please say your name again.
Hello, can you hear us?
Yes.
I'm Matt Granger, and we're all representing the Westcliff Farmers Market.
Okay. Would you please come into the room? You're representing Farmers Market? Yeah, we're gonna need you in here. Anyway.
Could you hear us?
Yeah.
Sort of. Anybody else? Are you all there from the Farmers Market?
That is, that's my whole group.
Okay, very good, thank you. All right, very good. So I'm gonna move this agenda around a little bit. So once we're through old business, A is gonna remain where it is, but item D, consideration request to contribute fund.
I don't think you finished your other stuff about the town attorney. Yeah.
Business.
I thought we did.
No, we didn't.
We have to make a.
Well, I just, what I did was I told you what we did.
We didn't vote though.
We haven't voted, we have to vote.
Oh, that's right. I apologize. You guys I'm getting really old, you know that. All right. So, yes, final draft of the attorney's contract, $14,000 a year with no benefits. He has how many days to respond to you?
24 hours.
24 hours to respond to a request from our clerk and, or the board, and that's it. So that's basically the elements of the contract.
One thing I'd like to bring up, Paul and Clay, this question's for you. When you, in the appendix A, you refer to section 6. I believe that's incorrect, maybe section 10, based on compensating you for travel over here when you physically come to our meetings. Is that okay with you, Clay, to change that?
Yeah, I apologize. I thought I had corrected that. Are we talking about the incorrect county?
No, it's,
When you travel, over here from Pagosa Springs for a meeting,
it refers to section 6, and section 6 has nothing to do with.
Oh, yes, please. If there's any internal referential errors, I have no problem with it. You guys can change it to whatever you like as long as it's substantially, the substance of it doesn't change. Make it as easy on yourselves and as clear as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. I think it's just a typo, so change that from 6 to 10 and it should be fine.
Good catch. Thank you, sir.
thank you. Okay, any other questions, changes? All right, very good. All in favor, say aye. I need a motion to approve.
I move that we approve it as presented with the change from section 6 to reference to section 10.
I second it.
So it's moved and second, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
you.
carries. All right, so under, we have a continued discussion of, a parking ticket device, Sheriff Smith.
Thank you very much. I have a copy there on your desk there. It's a handout I sent out in February. And it explains the ticket costs for using a company in Denver called Clancy Parking Systems. And Stan Wolfson, the owner of that company, is actually there on the video. And the reason for this is a lot of people don't understand it actually costs me money to write a ticket. And so to do a parking ticket, I have to call it in to dispatch to get the name of the owner and their address. It costs me $25. Well, your ticket is $25, and then plus the time for the deputy to write it and then enter it in the computer and process it. And then if someone wants to fight it, come to you guys for court. So Clancy Parking Systems offers this system where the deputy or posse member or member of your team uses an Android style phone, and they take a picture of the car license plate, and then the computer looks it up instead of me tying up the 911 center. The ticket is all printed out. You click a button if it's a handicap permit or a fire lane or whatever the thing is. It prints out a copy. We leave it on the driver's windshield. It's very fast. And then the funds go to Clancy Parking Systems. And what I would respectfully suggest is that if you approve this system, the fee for it's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $300 a month. That would deduct that from whatever the parking tickets were for that month, and then the rest of the money would come to you however you desire to
Is
do
there a
that.
way to differentiate between the towns?
Yeah, so I can load in the fines and the addresses from the town. And then the thing is actually smart enough so it'll know if it's in Westcliff or Silver Cliff. And you also asked me to give you the Silver Cliff fines, which I have there on your desk as well. I predict that most of the tickets would actually happen in the town of Westcliff, and that's where we get most of the complaints.
Any questions from Sheriff Smith?
Yeah, the $270 a month, is that $270 for Westcliff and $270 for Silver Cliff, or $270 just to have the unit to use in the county?
$270 just for the unit to use between the two towns.
Okay.
So it's $135 each. Okay, very good.
So I could, if you wanted, I could go to Mr. Wolfson there, and then he's got a little toy car that has a toy license plate, and he can actually show you the system working. It's pretty impressive.
Wondering.
I think you should use Wanky's truck.
Which is in the shop forever.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
just have a question. Do you need more than one? I mean, would you need really one for the town of Silver Cliff and one for the town of Westcliff?
I don't know. We haven't written a lot of parking tickets.
Oh, okay.
And I could come back to you at a future time and say if we thought it was worth it to you. The town of Silver Cliff, and I actually began this discussion with Caleb Patterson, and he was the one who asked me to go forward. I talked to Buck, the mayor. The mayor in Silver Cliff has agreed to kind of do it if you guys do.
So, all right, some of our parking tickets should be written for over the line. And everybody knows what that is, and that's easy to do, but if they're over a time limit, how are you going to do that? Let's say it says 3-hour parking from such and such a time and so forth.
So do we have a place like that in the town?
Yeah, right on Main Street.
Okay, so I'll go to Stan, but I believe that if you take a picture of the plate, it will know, and if it hasn't moved, take it again. Can you correct me if I'm wrong? You're on mute. There you go.
Yes. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we've been at this a long, long time. We run into almost, well, I'm sure everything. We've been at this for 40 years. So these kind of questions are easily answered. We can, that particular function is called, we call it chalking, which is the old time where they put a piece of chalk on the tire and come back later and see if it's if the chalk is still in the same position. And so the answer is, yeah, we can write the 3-hour violations and know that the car has been there and take the photo evidence that the car hasn't moved for the 3 hours. It's really pretty standard in our parking industry. If there's anything really specific that you need, I'll be more than happy to do it. I would be more than happy to give you a little demonstration, but I'm not sure that I did bring a little toy car home, and I'm doing this from my home, so.
So I met Stan when I was on the state patrol working on an auto theft project, and we were able to work. But can you tell us some of the bigger cities that you do business with parking enforcement?
Oh, we do cities all over the. Gee, what happened to my little car? When Sergeant Smith left the state patrol, they didn't give him a car. Did they give you a car?
No, they didn't give me a car.
No, they didn't give. And he really liked that Dodge a lot. So, okay, I'm sorry, got a little offbeat here, but yeah, what we did, and we really enjoyed this a lot. We implemented a program. First of all, you asked me what's cities. We operate in cities all the way across the country. Some of our medium-sized, larger-sized cities are Richmond, Virginia, Kansas City, Albany, Contra Costa County, which is a large county in California. We do transit agencies like the Denver RTD, where they have 85 parking lots that they use our system to control those the parking in those parking lots. So, and we've been at this, like I say, for about 40 years, and run into all kinds of stories. One of the stories we ran into is we wanted to put in a kind of a public service project where we were getting all of these license plates in real time into our system. Somebody would write a parking ticket in Richmond, Virginia. The parking ticket would show up in our system, and we'd file it away for Richmond, Virginia. What we worked with the Colorado State Patrol and Sergeant Smith is we came up with this program where we got a hot list from the state of Colorado and from the national NCIC, and we downloaded that, and every time a license plate hit our system, we looked it up. Is this vehicle wanted by anybody? And sure enough, we would get these hits. People that have a stolen car certainly do not pay for parking of that stolen car. So Sergeant Smith Sergeant Smith at the Colorado State Patrol helped expedite this, and we are now checking and we write maybe as many as our systems write maybe as many as 50,000 tickets a day. And those 50,000 tickets, each and every one of them is checked against the downloaded hot list, and we alert law enforcement if we get a hit. And we're out of the picture. We don't do anything. We don't get any feedback.
Hey, Stan, we gotta move on to the next question. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
I thank you very much, sir. Very informative.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love talking about parking, by the way.
All right, any other questions?
Sheriff Smith, is what I remember from the last time you were here, we can try it, and if it doesn't work, it's not a long-term commitment.
That's correct. So he's allowing us that we could try it. And if you don't like it after a month, we can walk away from the system.
Yeah, there is no long-term contract. I want you to know that we're in the business of work with people. And if it doesn't, for any reason at all, we had this issue in COVID and elsewhere that it just didn't work in some cases. Just return the equipment and there is no long-term contract. We do sign you up for a 2-year contract, but the contract has a 30-day absolute cancellation in it for no reason at all. You can cancel the contract.
The main reason I'm asking for it is just, it saves me money on my 911 bill of the running the plate and then writing the ticket out manually.
So Christie,
Bob had another question.
well, and probably your same thing is, what do we have volume wise?
I'm sorry?
I mean, what kind of volume do we have historically?
Not a lot.
Not a lot. And the reason why is, like, especially on Main Street, which is where most of the complaints are, let's say I leave here and I drive down and right in the middle of the block is the violation. If I leave the police car there, well, now I'm making the problem worse. But this thing, a guy could just walk down, scan all the cars, print out tickets if they need to, and then get out of the way.
I'd suggest if we're gonna do a trial period, we ought to do it through the main part of the summer with all the tourist traffic.
Absolutely.
Well, that's coming, it's getting on us. That's a good point. Christie?
I think that we should definitely mirror the fines that Silver Cliff has done, which appears to be what you've recommended. We do have some other ones that they don't have the overlength on Main Street. What do you recommend as an amount for the overtime limit?
Something more than $25 so that we're not losing money writing the ticket.
Well, over length, you have 25.
That's the current fine, yes.
Oh, so we need to raise that.
Yeah, I know, I don't want to drive off business for the business owners down there.
Because you said this, I'd like to propose the following ticket prices, and the handicap was $150 and the fire hydrant was $300. Yellow curb was $50 and over length was $25. So do you want to bump that?
I think it should go up a little bit, but I'll let you guys decide what you're.
It's gonna be a new regime, isn't it? Because we've never successfully enforced that. $50 might be a good bump.
I think so, and, but Christie makes a good point about over the parking time limit. And I would make that maybe the same as being over the line.
So another $50.
$50 for over that length of time. What we're trying to do is get people to change their behavior, not punish them.
And I'm not trying to punish them or raise money. I think once we do it and we're affected, people will say, okay, now it's time to obey the rules, so.
It would be really nice to be able to direct people to that humongous parking lot that we have that nobody ever parks in.
And especially the tourists don't know it's there. so.
Right, so, maybe it'd be worth a little signage investment or
There's
something.
some, I guess it's not adequate.
I have to walk Main Street and just see what the parking times are. Like in front of Chappie's or in front of the library and just see, I don't know if you know what they are. But we do have times on those signs, and it's between certain hours because we have people who live above those buildings too. So, okay. Any further discussion on this? Can I have a motion to, yes, Randy?
Yeah, according to what Town of Silver Cliff did here, they did it under an ordinance. So I imagine we probably have one. Well, yeah, but if they did it under an ordinance, maybe we need to do ours under an ordinance too.
Yeah,
Fines and everything, so.
Clay,
There already.
absolutely.
Clay, can you hear me?
Yes, 24 hours.
Sorry, my button was off. Go ahead, Mr. Mayor, sorry.
Well, we want to change our parking fines. Do we have to do that under ordinance or just a resolution from the board to change them from one level to another?
For fees, that would be a change to your fee schedule.
Yeah.
And I believe you can do that by resolution. I don't know why I can't, I know the answer to that. I'm having let me look at it and I'll give you an answer before. You're not going to do it right now, but It'll either be by resolution or ordinance, and I'll let you know in the next few minutes.
Well, we couldn't do it right now by just a motion here. If we have to do it in an ordinance, then we won't have to make the motion again. We'll just put it in the ordinance.
Right. No, I get it. If you want to do a verbal resolution, I think you're good to do that. If not, well, we can address it, but as I recall, you can do fee schedule changes by resolution.
Okay.
Let me just. I can't recall for some reason how we've done that in the past, so.
Well, the reason why I'm asking is because I got the Silver Cliff thing here and they did theirs by ordinance. So
We have.
that's why I brought it up.
9-1-4 penalties, fees and separate infractions. You just have to amend them.
Which will take an ordinance.
You can do it by resolution.
Okay, we can do it as a resolution right here, according to the attorney. I have a motion to approve the change in fee schedule for parking fines.
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Is there further discussion?
So what are we, I hate to keep bringing this up, but so are we saying we're taking the Silver Cliff ones and we're also adding this, the overlinked vehicles to $50 or?
Yes.
At the time.
Overtime for the overtime, $50 each.
So I just want to make sure we're doing this right and we got the figures right.
You should have made the ordinance.
Yeah, maybe I'll amend that I propose that we accept this proposition and that we also modify the fee structures. Handicap permit, $150, fire lane, fire hydrant, $300, yellow curb, no parking, $50, overlength vehicle on Main Street, $50, time violation, $50.
Line, over the line too,
Over lane, yeah, okay, over length line vehicle on Main Street, I think that's
$50.
$50, yeah.
So that's the motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
So do we, at this point, need a motion to engage in the apparatus, the separate motion for
Yeah,
that?
we can do that. Yes, we can do that. So if you want to make a motion toward that advice, please do so.
I'll make a motion that we engage with the automated ticket writing assistance program that Sheriff Smith has proposed.
4-month trial period?
Yeah. 4 months trial period.
Perfect. And he can email me a contract which I could bring to you to formally sign.
Have a second?
Oh, go ahead.
I'll second, yeah.
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No. Opposed? Motion carries. All right,
Thank you.
that's all we have for all the business under that item. So we are on now to new business, consideration request to approve the Sexual Assault Awareness Month proclamation. Family Crisis Services will be here, is here to give us a report. I'm sorry.
Paul,
I'm sorry.
I thought we were gonna move that, the other thing up and
Round Mountain.
the Round Mountain thing.
This, like I said, we're gonna keep that the
She's gonna
same,
go first.
and then we're gonna move this first. We're gonna keep this first. and then move Round Mountain.
You have to tell them what we're doing. You going up.
You see that? No, we're not. Round Mountain will be second.
Okay, what happened?
Okay.
I know Dave had time restrictions.
Well, I mean, we all do, so I was gonna, this shouldn't take too long.
No.
So,
Okay.
do we have a proclamation to read?
Ashley?
Yes, thank you guys for having us. So it's whereas April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month and calls attention to the fact that sexual violence is widespread and impacts every person in Custer County. And whereas every day women, men, and children across Colorado suffer the pain and trauma of sexual assault upon survivors and our communities. And whereas the crime occurs far too frequently, goes unreported far too often, and leaves long-lasting physical and emotional scars. And whereas during National Sexual Assault Awareness Month, we recommit ourselves to lifting the veil of secrecy and shame surrounding sexual violence, expanding support for victims, and strengthening our response. And whereas sexual violence affects individuals of all ages, backgrounds, and circumstances, and whereas as a community, we share the responsibility for protecting each other from sexual assault, supporting victims when it does occur, and bringing perpetrators to justice. And whereas at every level, we must work to provide necessary resources to victims of every circumstance, including medical attention, mental health services, relocation and housing assistance, and advocacy during the criminal justice process. And whereas Westcliff, Colorado can come together to increase awareness about sexual violence, decrease its frequency, hold offenders accountable, support victims, and heal lives. Now, therefore, let it be proclaimed, City Council of Westcliff, Colorado, that the month of April 2025 is hereby designated as Sexual Assault Awareness Month in Westcliff, Colorado, and hereby urge the community to work together to educate themselves about sexual violence prevention, to support survivors, and speak out against harmful attitudes and actions.
So I have a motion to approve this.
I'll make the motion to approve the sexual assault
Second.
awareness month.
I'll second it.
Moved and second, discussion. Sheriff, where'd the sheriff? No, I had a question. Okay, very good. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, thank you very much. We're moving on item
Thank
D.
you.
Item D to the front of the line here, consideration of request to contribute funds to Round Mountain. I'm gonna ask Dave to come up here. Dave Schneider's here. Okay, and Bill Candace here from the county commissioners. Bill? You got 30
Thank you, Mr. Meyer. I got 3 minutes and I'll do it in less.
30 seconds. No problem.
I can't stress enough the significance and the gravity of the issue that we're in, that face all of us. All the trustees here, do you know what the problem is? Have you heard about it? Do you understand it? Do you understand the significance?
Sure.
It's significant. And I'm telling you, there's a hero here that you'll see in a minute. That's Dave Snyder. He's gonna help. But there's more to that. It affects every one of us, and I'm gonna mention one date, 1991. Dave can expound on that. That's the last time the lagoon was ever pumped and desludged. Every one of you, every citizen, every person that visited, every resident of the county have contributed to that sludge in that pile that's there. It's gotten to the point where if we don't do something about it, the worst case scenario is Dave is not allowed to meet the criteria that he's under by the state to prove out this new technology you'll hear about in 3 minutes also. That if that doesn't happen, by statute, if it fails, the county takes over the job of supplying the septic system for the county with county money. There's not enough tax money to do that, and there's not enough to build a mechanical system in the treasury anywhere. It's important that it's successful, and it's important that everybody that has a vested interest contribute to that. What the county did was donate $40,000 because by pushing hard on exactly what it's gonna cost to get that sludge out of here, it's not gonna cost $1.5 million like they thought. It's gonna cost $98,000 or $100,000. And so given that, we split the deal with Round Mountain and donated that to get it off the ground so that we could try to have half a chance of making success. Bob Cinderhoff is here also, and he's gonna point out after Dave talks a little bit on how we're gonna raise the money. I invited every taxing district to come to 2 different meetings. One was to look at what the original proposal was to dump it on the ground. The other one was to, what are we gonna do about to pay for it? What are options to make it happen? And we came up on the option that Denali finally agreed to. It wasn't $1.5 million, it's 98,000. But the county has a contingency fund that we had other taxpayer money to put in there because we cannot run in the red. It's illegal. We can't do that. So that contingency means we took risk on something else that we would have rather done. Just like you all today, I'm asking you for the money as well. Every taxing district has a dog in the fight, in my view, and every citizen in the county does. But there are easier ways for the county to help than just our donation to start with, and that's to get everybody involved in what Bob might propose here in a couple minutes. So it's important to understand, we don't want to do it. We're not in the business to be providing utilities at all by law. And so that's the crisis. We have to be successful. A mechanical system is $22 million, and Dave's got an opportunity to discuss why it's only gonna cost what he's gotten a grant for and the amount of money that he's got to share with us to get the sludge out of here. So Dave, why don't you talk about it, and then Bob needs to talk about how else you all can help raise the money besides just donating what you can. And I did propose $5,000 initially. That was the starting point. Discussed it with the school board president, and we're gonna go do the same gig, and they're looking at 10,000. Silver Cliff, we're gonna be talking with them, and if you all also, and then the fire department, and all the smaller taxing districts, we can negotiate and get something. $500, anything helps. So Dave, take it from there.
Yeah, most of you are well versed, but I'll just give a really quick summary. In 2015, we were put under compliance order by CDPHE to replace the wastewater treatment system due to a spill on private property from our infiltrator beds. We fast tracked that, and by mid 2016, we had an estimate for a $6 million small mechanical treatment plant. We had put in for effluent limits to discharge to the stream. They came back very reasonable. We fast tracked that. We were able to get $1 million grant from DOLA, $2.5 million grant from USDA, and a $2.5 million low interest loan. So we had it fully funded. And if everything would have gone as planned by 2018, we would have had a new wastewater treatment plant. In late 2016, we were notified by EPA and the state health department that Grape Creek had been listed as impaired. And that threw everything right out the window. And that to this day is our major obstacle that is preventing us to get a wastewater treatment system replaced. So that 3-year project now is in year 10. We can't, as Bob said, we can't afford a mechanical treatment plant. And most of you know, we've been the last 4 years have been looking at new emerging technology that we're really excited about. Finally got CDPH on board this March. CDPHE has required us to use our existing lagoons as part of that pilot study. But since they haven't been desludged since 1991, there's still a significant amount of sludge in there that has to be removed so that we can get an accurate pilot study, the correct amount of volume that we can prove to the state that this will work. So that's why we had to do this. We've been over a year now working at the desludging process. It takes quite a while to work through. And as you all know, there was significant pushback. We had talked months ago with Denali, the company, saying, hey, what's it look like at 30,000 foot level to take it off the hill? And they suggested that it'd be 2 to 3 times, the cost that would be if we could do it up here. So I really didn't look at that until after the meeting. And then I called Denali and said, I really need you to sharpen your pencil and see if there's an actual legitimate amount of money that we can do it for that would be affordable to the district. So I was pleasantly surprised when it came back, because I was preparing for around $300,000, because they will be taking it out, looks like, to Yoder on some big fields they have out there. That's a little over 200-mile round trip. And that's 206,000 gallon truckloads on 200. So all you got to do is figure out what the fuel is. So I think, in my assumption, they're doing a little PR campaign because of the blowback, and kudos to the people. Hey, I'm fine with that. It was over our amount of contingency that I had about $62,000 of contingency. So, we're grateful for the county to come in and help us out to try to keep some of that contingent money back. And we'd be grateful for any donation, to keep this on. My goal in this whole thing is to keep this process going. After 4 years of fighting with CDPHE, then they give us 180 days to get the project going. So it's just the reality of working with the state health department. It's a tight schedule, but if I keep everything going, I think we could have it going by October of this year. And this is just a pilot study. I wish I could tell you it was the full, complete solution. They need it proven in a larger scale production. So they want us to run a pilot study for a year to a year and a half to get all the information and sampling and operational requirements throughout all 4 seasons. So we're still, if everything goes perfect, we're still looking at probably 2030 by the time we'd actually get a real solution. The exciting thing of this is the treatment it does to both the water and the sludge, and the cost is a quarter to a third of the cost of a traditional mechanical treatment plant. So we're excited to keep it going. Love for you to partner with us because we've kind of we've become the poster child in Colorado of trying to find an affordable, effective solution for our wastewater treatment.
Okay, one quick one here, Jim, the significance is even bigger because state is also counting on this for, what is it, 2,000 other communities like us to have.
Yeah, there's about 1,100 small communities.
And that's why, but Bob will tell you, it's important. We need probably more money than just that because you don't know what issue you'll come up with in the pilot study that could be greater than what he set aside.
Dave, assuming that all this works and we get the plan approved by CDPHE, will the stream still be impaired?
That's up to the county and to the state health department. I would love I've been honestly impressed. The thing that I thought would never unify has unified the county. I mean, there's people from the right and the left that come together and objected to this. And what I would love to have is that energy focused on that stream that it's been 8 years, over 8 years now, it's been listed and nothing's been done.
And I can answer part of that in detail because I went to the state after our meeting and talked to people at the state level and other people that have worked it. That's been impaired for a lot of years, and a lot of other agricultural communities have the same issue. It's fertilizer technique and application and the amounts that people have been using. If they enforced the regulations they have today, the agricultural business in the state would be gone, and that's their cut. So it has to be worked. The applications need to be done differently. You don't put it in swampland thinking you're going to get greener grass coming because you got a lot of water. That's not the way it works. And that's what's been happening. We all flood irrigate and it goes downstream in Grape Creek. It's not Round Mountain. It's caused the algae that's in that lake. It's the fields in this valley.
Yeah, we have never put a drop. We've always, since 1975, the original plant was designed to have infiltrator beds. And for our entire existence, we put into infiltrator beds 90% of the time have been over half a mile away from the stream. So we've never discharged anything into the creek. So it's coming from someplace else. I'd love to find out where that is. I would love to get that stream delisted. It would fast track our wastewater treatment solution by light years.
That's why it's important that he's successful. It has to happen. Bob's up.
Okay, thank you very much, Mayor, for the opportunity. You know, I've been to a lot of these meetings. I've been to the Round Mountain, I've been to the county, and I've listened to this for a number of years, which we all have. And it hit me the other day that they were looking for this $100,000 roughly to take the step forward. And that's when the county came in with their money, Round Mountain came in with theirs. but there was a discrepancy as to where we're gonna get the rest of the money. So in my mind, I thought, well, in listening to them all, it sounds to me like we got a problem, not only in Round Mountain Water and Sanitation in the two towns, but we do have the issue for the entire county. It really hit me one day after one of the meetings. I was sitting in my office, I looked across the street, and all of a sudden I see about 6 or 8 school buses full of children that are loading up to go back to the rural areas of the county. So with that in mind, I'm just trying to think of where we're gonna get the money. So here's my proposal. I wanted to set up a sludge fund. And I wanted a sludge fund, and I want to use the banks, set one up at each one of the banks, so nobody gets upset about, you know, you put it in my bank and not your bank, that type of thing. But then I felt as though the town of West Cliff should come up with some money to help. I think Silver Cliff should. I believe the county, and they have stepped up to it. The school. You take a look at all these children that are coming in, and you know, they're using all the facilities in Round Mountain, water and sanitation for their showers and meals and et cetera. So I thought that would be a good one. I think at one of the meetings, I think the fire district was at one of the meetings, and they showed some interest in possibly participating in some level. So then, that's all well and good, but I think we're gonna have to look at individual donations from the people within the county to help out in this. So in doing that, if we could turn around and the 40,000, if we could get maybe 10,000 from each of the two towns, the school, I think they will participate, and the fire district. Then I got going, well, I gotta do publicity, so, you know, talking to the two newspapers for help. Then the banks, the two banks that are, you know, local here, maybe they could help. So I look at this, putting up a fund and doing it. I'm doing this as an individual. Nobody's told me what to do or what to say. This is just my feeling, and I want the people to know that it is a community county issue. So if we could just help them get some of the money back into their coffers, this 140,000 for each of them, and then if we do get more money, then that extra money would go towards the new facility and not be put into a general fund or anything of that nature, only for that facility if it's over. Well, we gotta get started. So that's my proposal. I'm asking for help from everyone. I'm not a great one to go out and ask for money, but here I am. I opened up my mouth, and the next thing I know, I'm at a podium asking for money. So anyway, give us some thought. We're in it together. This is I think a good starting point. I think maybe it'll work. And I am open to any questions, comments, etc. from my standpoint.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, anybody have any questions, and so forth? Bob?
Thank you, Bob.
I will open it up with Kirsty.
I don't have any questions for Bob. I have a
Good.
question for Dave.
Sure.
You did well.
Thanks.
What is the price for just the sewer part of a sewer and water tap right now,
Oh, you'd ask me. So it's
roughly?
about 13.5, I think.
I have a thought that's a little out of the box. Because I think that from the standpoint of our responsibility as a town board to look out for the safety, health, and well-being of the constituents of West Cliff, I mean, this is a no-brainer. We've got to help with this. But from a fiduciary position, I feel our citizens have been paying into the district for many years. They pay into the special district with their taxes. And so would there be something that we could do maybe in the way of we're gonna give Round Mountain X amount of dollars towards this, and in return, we're going to get, maybe be able to take money comparable to the money that we give to Round Mountain off of a certain number of sewer taps. I'm thinking along the lines of when we have this workforce housing that we're working on, and how everyone just says, oh, it's so hard because the water and sewer taps cost so much. Maybe we could, I don't know if that would be considered a loan, or we're giving, we're giving money and you're giving us, and we can, I guess the town board would have to decide how those could be used, but I just worry a little bit because I know that this problem has existed way longer than you've been involved with it. I know that. And I don't necessarily think it's fair that we're taking taxpayers' money and asking them to fix this when they've been doing their part for all these years, so.
Good point, good point. Any other questions?
Actually, I have
Yes,
a question for Clay. I want to clarify something.
okay.
Hey, Clay, Mark Domboski.
Yep, I'm here.
Great. So I'm on both boards, Round Mountain and the town. And some time ago, signed a document with the state of Colorado Department of State indicating that conflict of interest, and determined I would be, since I can't do both, represent the interests of Round Mountain. On the other hand, I think it's true that in the Colorado laws, a board of trustee who does not receive any compensation and has no financial interest directly is not considered in conflict of interest. So is it appropriate for me to make a comment, or do I need to stay quiet?
Well, I mean, I think we're conflating two different issues there. One of those issues is a per se financial conflict. The other part of a conflict is if you were as part of a board member of two separate boards or commissions pitted against each other as far as interests go. And the law is clear that insofar that interests are aligned, it still does not deconflict it doesn't deconflict a possible conflict based in the interest of the two different bodies. So, I mean, I don't know if only you know, I guess, what the interests are of both, since you sit on both boards, but I don't think you should speak on behalf of the water board insofar that you're pushing an issue that is of interest of that board that may be in conflict with what the town's interests are, if that makes sense. So it's not financial. The end of the analysis isn't just financial, is what I'm trying to tell you. And I would be careful not to use your position on one board to influence the opinion of another board.
Okay, so I guess I will not make any comments then.
Well, we have two board members here, Randy Wilhelm and Mark Domboski, both on Round Mountain's board. And I've asked them to recuse themselves from this discussion and vote. But we still have a quorum, so we can have a discussion. And as far as we're not in conflict with Round Mountain, the town is not, because we clearly need Round Mountain's services to service the town of Westcliff. But hearing what you've said, I would just ask that you guys recuse yourself.
We should leave, I guess, right?
I don't think you have to leave, but you can stay here, just get the duck that we Anyway, all right, Bob.
Bill and Bob, thank you for your comments. I've been in town for 10 years and I'm very aware and followed this all along. David, my question is once we get it ready to go and switch over to the new test system in that year to year and a half, CDPHE says it's a go, it's working beautifully. We have a big celebration. Do we have to go to work? No, but my point is that system that's going to be put in as a test, is that going to take care of us for the foreseeable future, or is it going to come in and spend another, $5 million or whatever it may be?
It will So in the immediate future, the actual improvements that we're doing to the front end treatment, our lagoons, and then adding the treatment on actually will increase our ability to accept septic into that system. It's just making it much more efficient in how it runs. So I am not worried in this next 2, 3, even up to 4 years that it would take to get the real plant. Because it's been proven that it works really well and effectively. So I'm very comfortable to say that we can effectively treat our existing sewage and maybe a little bit of a whatever bump in building in the next 3 years or so. It's gonna take from approval, probably 2 to 3 years before you'd actually have a full blown treatment solution there, just because that's how long it takes.
Hey, you mentioned something that caught my attention. We do have a lot of undeveloped lots in West Cliff and in Silver Cliff. Can you accommodate building out those lots with residences?
Well, it all depends a lot.
Pardon me?
I would say unless there's just wholesale, I mean, everybody's building a house every day, we couldn't do that, but if we look at basically historical, we can take the historical growth that's been projected over the last 10, 15 years. So unless there's a run on the bank of people deciding to build up here, that might be an issue, but statistically, that just doesn't look like it's gonna happen.
Any other questions? Yeah,
Just
go ahead.
last question is we're figuring probably $3 to $4 million added. The good thing that all this equipment that we're putting in, we'll be able to reuse in the final solution. We're probably looking at another $3 million to $4 million to do the total plant, which is laughable now because most solutions are now at $20 million.
So that's not in your budget that you have already?
No, this is a $1.6 million project. We're pretty much fully funded. We had $800,000 in equipment donations. We got over $800,000 in a grant. We'll have money to, of course, that's a matching grant, so we'll be putting in our own money onto that, but.
Hate to be the thorn in the side, but is there a contingency plan if the Colorado doesn't approve our new system?
No. Can't afford anything else that's out there. I've looked on every rock and stone and it's just simply unaffordable because
Right,
I'm limited. I can't tax the whole county.
No, I understand.
I can only tax my district and that's where the poor people live. The way it is, it's just the reality, so.
One quick comment on that too. Dave's the March of Dimes poster child for the state. He's gone to a lot of conferences to point this out to all the communities that are banking on this being successful. And I think what he said is about 98%.
We have proven it in bench scale. We've proven that it'll work even to meet our crazy limits because of our impaired stream. So I'm confident that we'll be able to.
And then one last point on that too. Setting up the bank accounts that he's talking about. Don't think if you vote tonight and you say, all right, let's give them 10, 20, 30, whatever thousand, you can wash your hands and walk away. You need to own it. You need to get the publicity out. You need to keep it in front of people to donate. And the county, we can take the money and give back tax deductions on that because it's a contribution that's tax deductible. So to keep it alive and in case there are other contingencies that, 98%, that sounds pretty good, but you never know. Once you start a plan, you start a new one.
That brings up a good idea. Christie, your idea on the tap fees. What if we somehow, I don't know how we would do it, is make a tap fee, a contribution to Round Mountain for a certain period of time for the next 5 years. And then that could be deducted from the taxes of the person who was doing the bill, donating. That would lower their taxes. And that would essentially lower their tap fee.
A lot of time you can figure that's a good idea.
That would be, That would be, I don't know, how that would work. We'd have to get our attorneys involved, but we, you know, they come off your federal and your state taxes.
Special assessment,
Excuse me?
be a special assessment, so.
Yeah.
For a period of time or something.
For a set period of time.
So, just think,
Yeah, I just think we need to think, I mean, I think we definitely need to help in some capacity, but I think we need to remember our fiduciary responsibility to our citizens as well that have been paying into the district for, you know, however long you've lived here. And I mean, it upsets me that we can't somehow compensate the people that have lived here for a long time, but I just don't see how that could work. I think you need to have something that's, you know, tangible in the way of a tap, or taxes off of the tap, and maybe even, what comes to mind immediately, but I don't want anyone to just think I'm pigeonholed there, is the grant that the town just got for this workforce housing and the concern of people not being able to afford to develop it because of the fees and things that are going to go along with developing it. And that could definitely offset that. But at the same time, I don't want to not help someone that maybe is doing a duplex or something that's smaller. Or I know Round Mountain had said, like, we need to kind of revisit the ADU situation. So I still come back to, if there's something that's happening to increase living for people working in the community, and we could donate money and somehow offset some costs to people that are helping with that, that would be great. I don't know how that would look. I mean, I don't know if we could just sit here and say, we're going to donate, I don't know, 15,000 or whatever to, and then we'd have to figure that out amongst ourselves with the attorneys, with Round Mountain, if Round Mountain would even be willing to talk to us about something like that.
well, I think your idea is good, and you brought up the tap fees, which are considerable. But if they made a donation to Round Mountain of a tap fee, which is 28,000.
Yeah. Say
Accepted
$30.
as a donation, they would get a tap fee free, essentially, and they could write that off their taxes. Does that make sense?
Like individuals that are needing to donate to this, so it's kind of in what Bob's talking
Yeah.
about.
And so you're in the real estate business, Bob, what do you think of that thought? People being able to donate a chunk of dough to alleviate the need to pay a tap fee.
You know, I like, conceptually, I think it sounds good, but that's gonna be up to the individual, person that's gonna make that kind of a
Well, they don't
donation.
have to.
Yeah, they're gonna have to talk to their attorneys and their accountants to see on their side of the coin what they can do and what type of, refund
Well, I
or.
mean, we're
less
just talking
taxes or
about
what.
tap fees and so we all
Yeah,
pay
contribution,
taxes.
just like a contribution to any other type of entity.
Right.
The only question is, you know, it's a quasi-governmental agency. That's for what's going through my mind right now.
That's why going through the county and the county donated back to Round Mountain, you can get a tax break one time anyway, by donating.
Well, anybody who donates to this should get a tax break, whether it's for whatever, but they should be able to take it off their personal income, state and federal income taxes.
Does it meet the requirements for that?
I don't know why not.
It's a 501(c)(3) caliber, what the county would issue, it would be donated, just like a church.
So as long as the receiving organization about that standard that Bill was just talking about, it seemed to me like it would be workable. I'm just saying.
The county is a 501c3.
I'm just saying, it's like we have here, it's taxed, you can donate anything you want to the county, real property or otherwise, and put a number on it, and we can give you a tax deduction.
We can't.
Right, they can.
But you're just talking about property taxes then.
No, I'm just talking, it's the donation like a church. I mean, it's like
No, I understand, but the real
property
impact-
taxes, we can't does that by mill levy.
The
It has to be
the
voted.
real impact would be state and federal
Right.
taxes.
Just find your tax return.
Well, if this is worthy of pursuing it, maybe Round Mountain could ask their attorney if this is a viable solution.
I would need something in writing exactly, it's a little murky yet right now of what you're proposing.
That's something you can figure, you need to decide on an amount today if you want.
Right.
Well, we'll just come up with,
Come up with a process.
right.
Keep it alive. You cannot let it sit.
All right, so we're going around a lot. Well, as I understand it, Bill, correct me if I'm wrong, but the county stepped up and committed 40,000 as a loan, you said earlier.
Well, it's a donation and we're
Donation.
willing to
So in other
lose that
Okay,
donation.
David, that gets you over to, that takes care of what we need right now.
Right.
It does.
Haul it down the hill. Okay, so what you're asking is for both towns and then individuals, however it works out, that's down, but then to reimburse, if you will, the county. Is that, am I hearing that correctly?
Right, we used up some of our contingency.
Whatever,
fund.
but to give it back, if we get all
But
40,000.
we're willing to risk it if not.
That's right, because we're all in this boat
We're in
together.
together and the county gets,
Okay, so that's what I understand. So in other words, all we're talking about is $40,000 at this point.
Well, I was talking about Christie's.
I get that too, I agree.
no, but you're talking about his contingency too, Bob. It's more than $40,000. It's
40,000 from
The
the
county
county right
owns.
now, and then how much has Round Mountains put in, Dave?
Whatever the 58,000.
Oh,
It
so
comes up to about $100,000 like Bob
Yeah,
said.
and so-
But you have the dollars, you already
We need to
have,
have
contingencies were there.
Blowing our contingency, but that's why.
That's what contingency is for.
You gained risk.
I understand that, Bill.
I know you do, I'm just making, I'm
That's all right.
emphasizing.
So anyway, so that's, so in other words,
All right, so we're talking here about what the town of Westcliff is going to do from our funds. Okay, I think Christie's idea is worth pursuing. I will write a letter to you or your board
Yep.
and suggesting this idea. And, but I think it's worthy of pursuit. I think Christie makes a good point. We're trying to build workforce housing and we're trying to keep the cost down as low as we can. And every time you have a pop like that, it's going to affect people's ability to do it. But if they can deduct it from the taxes, then it makes more sense. Now, some people may not make enough money to qualify for workforce housing or whatever to make it make sense. So
Well, I just have a couple of other questions, and this is for Aaron. What kind of reserves do we have available to put toward something like this? That's kind of important to know.
well, we'll get to that right now. The county asked us at a meeting over at the search and rescue building for $5,000. Asked both Silver and Westcliff. I talked to Erin about it, and she says she would not like to go above that.
For now.
For now.
And then we have a budget
We-
workshop or
Right.
something, but
We're early in the year. We have our tax receipts for the first 2 months. And January was not good, February was better. So, it was better than last year. January was below last year. So it's a little early to tell how much we're gonna have coming in to do everything we wanna do this year. So if we kept it at $5,000 for now, we could always, if we're more flush later on, we can always discuss more. Chuck?
I feel very strongly on this. I was one of the people back in the mid-70s that lined those pits out there. And this can has been kicked down the road for decades.
Yeah, we're out of road.
And now we're out of road
Out of can.
and out of can, and our shoes are worn out. So I think that 5,000 is not enough.
Okay, you wanna make some other proposal?
I would suggest a minimum of 10, and then if we can do more later, go more.
Okay.
I mean, if we have,
I'm in agreement because, and if Bob's idea, if we reach out to the whole community and say, hey, this is the situation. then maybe we can get money back too, after the county gets paid back.
Art? That's right.
Oh, Randy's not had a little talk, I forgot. So well, then I have another question really quick for Dave, sorry.
Sure.
So if you've got the money right now to get it down the hill, realistically, when are you needing all the additional money? Are we, because I heard 2030, which is really a long ways off, but I mean, is this something that we could do something now and then when we do our budget for 2026, we're able to factor that in? Or is this something like you need by June?
Pay the trucks.
Yeah,
Pay-
so the bill for the trucks are gonna be by June, so they're gonna desludge in May. And we'll need to come up with, I think, 337,000, I think is the.
Oh, so so it's not this 98,000.
That's included in that whole thing. So it's $98,600 more than if we could have found a spot in the valley to put it.
Okay. Well, my thing, I mean, I feel strongly that it should be more if we have it, but I only say more if we can work something out where, let's just say the number I'm gonna throw just to do even numbers is 15,000, and we could take that and use it to offset, maybe not just one tap, maybe we offset 5 or 6 or 7 taps, to equal, maybe it's $1,000 off of it, and we're contributing to our new builders and new workforce housing and. But I agree that we should promote that idea if Round Mountain was on board with it, that if people wanted to make a donation in the value of a tap, that do something, but I can't worry about people that can do that. I just want to think about maybe offsetting some builders.
So realize the tap fee is not this punitive thing that so most of the tap fee is called system development fee. And it actually is stacked away for projects just like this. And the more that gets eaten down, the less we can do. So it's kind of we're in a catch-22.
Yeah.
So I know it's always the seeming deal killer on projects, but it's either that or we have to charge the existing people higher fees. Our argument is new construction has to build and pay for a large amount of the improvements needed for them to be able to put the new construction in. It's not fair for the people that have paid for the last 50 years for the old system to now again pay again. They need to part of it, but
Dave, it's let them know.
what's that?
The people who use the old system are people who pay taxes that we're gonna give you.
Yeah.
So they are paying.
So how much of our budget is paid from property tax?
Oh, about 10% of ours is.
So
Most of ours,
99% of our total budget is what we get off of property tax.
Yeah. I'm just saying that, we're talking about a donation from the town. Our money comes largely from sales tax. Okay, and
So
property.
with that,
If
Paul,
that, I mean, if that's something you don't feel that could be entertained, then my opinion is I'm gonna split the difference and go with a $7,500 donation.
Okay.
I would also like to point out that Dave said, this is using up their contingency fund. They don't have any more rectal extraction money, so this is,
I understand.
we gotta help them.
so I think the message for our citizenry, all of us in here, is think seriously about buying stuff out of the county, because both towns live off of sales tax. Okay, so if we're gonna take sales tax dollars, which is what we're doing, giving it to keep our toilets flushing, what we need to have, then you know what, somebody's gotta pay for it, and all of us need to do it together.
No question about it. Art?
American.
Well, I think we gotta be real careful about robbing Peter to pay Paul. It's true. Just as a real quick aside, we were in Greece this year. And in the hotel we were staying at, nice hotel, you couldn't flush your toilet. You have to, there's a little bucket beside you and you wipe and you put it in the bucket. So we don't want to get to that point.
I've been there too.
So, all right, so we need, huh?
Do a workshop.
Well, let's, Aaron is suggesting a workshop. But I want to know if we're ready to make a resolution, make a motion to give the amount of money.
Commit to it, yeah.
I'll make a motion and we give $10,000.
Okay,
I'll second.
been moved in second, discussion.
Make a change.
Okay, can we come up with that?
Well, we need to amend the budget anyways from some of our previous stuff. I'm waiting on the audit because we need the 2024 actuals to really get a good idea. Right now, we're using 2023. I mean, it'll be tight, but it's hard to say without
Something
creating
that,
the new
yeah,
budget with the 2024s.
and we're gonna have to work with Neil, since a lot of our monies goes through him in terms of his projects, so something might have to give. Will be delayed.
Because that's,
It's our town and our sewer system, basically, right? Or at least the second part of it. So I think we ought to lead by example and help get this ball rolling.
Thanks.
I agree with you.
thanks,
All
Neil.
right,
Because we,
can you support 10?
Huh?
Can you support 10?
I can support 10. I'm very concerned about the fiduciary responsibility that we have because this didn't happen overnight.
Well, we understand all that,
Yeah,
and,
So we're the ones that gotta fix it.
I
Or
know.
be part of the fix.
It makes me so bad.
okay, so we have a motion on the floor for the discussion. It's been moved and second, all in favor?
all right.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. And we will give $10,000 to Ron, probably in the month of maybe, you need it by June?
June is when the invoice will come out.
So do it.
We provide 5 bathrooms to the public. So.
8 toilets.
There we go. Do that in the state of Colorado. We're grateful for your,
30, that's all, you gotta be careful.
on behalf of Round Mountain, I'm really grateful for your partnership. Really, it means more than you know.
We appreciate you big
Thank
time.
We will, I'll send you a letter about this tax deduction idea.
Yeah.
And, you
Then
may
you go
have
to our
to,
board and go to our legal.
you may have to come up with another, 501c3 type organization to accept it.
We'll make that happen.
Okay.
Special districts are kind of oddballs in that way.
Okay.
And we're also gonna make another pitch at Liberty Rocks, and then we're going to the school. I've already talked to the school board, as I mentioned, but everybody's ponying up there, they realize it. So thank you all.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Randy?
Yes. Since we could not vote or discuss here, should we also be doing the same thing at the Round Mountain meeting?
Well, you're not talking about,
Possibly, okay.
you're not talking about giving
No, no.
our funds to Round Mountain.
Right.
Here
The
you
way they just voted to do it.
Okay.
Our statement to the
Thanks, Bob.
Department of State, Randy said we would be supporting Round Mountain.
Okay.
Okay, Matt, you're on, farmer's market use of Just Price Park.
Personnel.
And that's it for your role in that.
Okay, all right, Matt, go ahead.
And we'll comment as need be.
That's what I figured. Hey, everyone. My name is Matt Granger. I'm the manager of the farmer's market. And just want to thank everyone for being here. I wanted to ask if anyone knows what my favorite part of vacation is. Guesses?
When it's over.
My favorite part of vacation. Close. It's coming home.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here today to talk about, is the farmer's market coming home to Just Price Park. For over 18 years, we've served our community from there. We're talking about some of our smallest, most vulnerable local businesses, single mothers baking muffins, kids making art. And by conservative numbers, we estimate around $250,000 in sales to the downtown area just from the farmer's market. And that's really, you know, key to that central location is we provide a lot of support to the restaurants, to shops, to museums, from the overflow traffic we get from the farmer's market. We're a real magnet for tourists traveling through downtown to stop, to peruse, to look around, spend a little time in our town. So we hope you take that into consideration. And we knew, you know, there would be concerns with the renovation of the park, with damages and our use of it. And us more than anybody, you know, hear those concerns, and we want to protect the park more than anybody. So we met with the park committee last month. This consists of board members, Neil, staff members, people from the High Altitude Garden Club, and concerned citizens. We spent several hours surveying the park, talking about foot traffic, vendor setups, bathroom use, parking, you name it, and tried to come up with a comprehensive plan to where we could have the best of both worlds. We could have our community gathering, but also preserve the renovation of the park at the same time. So we have a site map of the general layout we had discussed. And so I just would like to open it up to everybody's thoughts and comments, concerns, and maybe we could work through any of them as far as us using the park, what it was intended for community gathering. You know, it's a weekly event where everyone comes together regardless of creed, religion, politics, to gather, share food, listen to music. It's a beautiful thing if you've never been. And we would like to go home.
Yeah.
Did you go this one or the next
That's perfect.
Okay, so you see 21 lots, planned spaces?
Correct. That's usually our kind of max number of vendors, and we were able to fit all of those in there while leaving the center of the park open for traffic, but also to protect natural resources. You know, we talked with Neil and the High Altitude Garden Club about their incoming plants, the grass that's established there, and really just trying to protect that, because we would hate to, you know, you don't want to stomp on your own house. So, yeah, you can just see the general layout there, not really blocking anything, and obviously we'll have music on the stage. And everything's contained within the property lines of the park and the parking spaces, so we don't imagine any, you know, traffic issues or any disturbances to local businesses.
Let me pop in as well, just quickly. I think we all tended to agree. Like Matt said, you'll notice the main entryways are not impeded. The center is open to see how that develops. We're not putting anything at this time anyway on, I guess it'd be what, 4th Street. And
The east side.
made sense to everybody.
And this is all on hard surface?
Yes.
Yeah, in the back, is that on hard surface?
Yeah.
That is the, yeah, you can see the curb stops there, so that is that lower strip of parking. And yeah, and we were gonna put up signage and have flagging to prevent foot traffic from encroaching on any of the plants or grass.
So I'm going to try to understand that. Is that the parking area on the north side then?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, so people will have to go down the slope. Okay,
No, it's the back parking, the north parking.
yes, but it's, the Just Price Park is here, it slopes down,
Oh,
and there's parking
The
right there.
walkway goes right down.
Correct. Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of why we put the flow of vendors along the edgeway there, so people would peruse down and then to the parking utilizing the walkway. And we had discussed using flagging to block off all the grass areas, so folks wouldn't even have the option to cut down over the hill to the parking spaces. And that would be the back of the vendors anyway, so naturally you wouldn't want to approach them from the rear. I think your intuition would be to go down the walkway and shop from the front.
That would be the north side of those booths then would be the front.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. One other question I got, and I'll shut up, is do we have enough picnic tables in there? Because people buy food they may want to eat. And I don't remember, Neil, do we have some picnic tables in there? I thought we
We have
did.
3 right now.
3, yeah.
We have 3.
And then we've got the stone benches.
Yes.
Stone benches are seats
Seating.
and eating
Seating.
areas, yes.
That's seating area, but I'm talking about, you know, a 4-top type. picnic
Three
table.
round.
Yeah, these round symbols are actually those concrete
I
4-seaters.
have been in there As I said earlier, you're getting old.
And in the past, those two are pretty close to where they were originally. They were a little higher up, but
Yeah.
in the past, we only had two round concrete tables, and that was fine. Some people bring chairs and,
Couple other points I think we came up with is,
Right, ready? Yeah, where the inn is up there is actually that other parking lot. Where the EV chargers are.
Yeah, that's
So there's
across,
actually,
that's across the alley.
it's across the alleyway. And also, I talked to them about, when the vendors get through setting up, they're going to go over onto where the E is, down that alleyway and park on that dirt parking lot that the town owns.
to the right.
Yeah, to
east,
the east of it.
on the other side of Fourth there, that new gravel lot they paved. Just to, I mean, we want as much parking for our patrons as possible.
So I'm assuming 20 and 21 are for the trailers, but I know some of the vendors have trailers.
Correct. Yeah, we were hoping they could utilize those spaces there and
12
still,
too. 12.
yeah.
3 of them.
How many,
12 is not room for a trailer, that's right in front of the shed.
True.
No,
And there's
that's,
electrical outlets in the dumpster there.
how many,
9, 10, and 11 is actually just 2 spaces,
no, there's three.
not according to this.
Well, it's measured up for 3.
Okay.
I don't know which one you're looking at, the one on the screen is correct.
how many current users do you have now? You know,
I believe I have 21 signed up right now. Most of those don't show up on the same day. You know, some of those are regional folks who come maybe once or twice. Well, our core member is usually between 8 and 13 on a, you know, later in the season type average Friday.
how did you do with your temporary situation? How did you do there?
Okay, I mean, numbers were down, and obviously, you know, we weren't as close to the bathrooms and the other businesses. Mr. Sturmer was very nice enough to let us use his parking lot there, but we've overstayed our welcome. It's not a viable option anymore.
Well, I talked to Gary Taylor, and they're gonna perform, Smythe and Taylor are gonna perform at least once.
Yep.
And, so the park, you know, when I first saw it and, from the street, I thought, man, I don't know, but then I got in it, I really like it. It's really a comfortable area. And it's gonna, you know, if Smythe and Taylor decide to, he also said, how about doing a cocktail thing? I think that's terrific on Sunday evening, you know, in the summer. So that's another thing, it's
That
not.
doesn't have anything to do with farmers market. There's plenty of music ready to play there, so I move that we allow the farmers market to return home.
Got a second for that? So any other discussion?
Great plan.
I think we did say, between the park committee and Matt, that we may have to do some adjusting as we try it out for the first few times, so hopefully in this motion, we'll have the ability to tweak.
Yeah, I mean,
Not
I
having
can
to come
always come
back.
back and adjust. I don't think you need to have to, as long as you work with the park committee and Neil.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Who's on the
you
park
don't have to-
committee?
You don't have to come back to this meeting.
Don't get Neil mad.
Oh, he runs a tight ship.
All right, very good.
I give it to
Any other
Les.
questions, Randy? Any other-
Gotta get-
No, thank you guys.
We'll have to, yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you for all the effort.
Oh, thank you.
So when's the first one?
June 6th. This is the first Friday of June, and 9 to 1. Please come down. Well, you can get a free carton of eggs from me if you say.
It's off the grass, please. It's not that kind of park. Oh. Touch.
Well,
I'm like, who's that's our responsibility? Nice. Good job.
Let's stay away. Okay. I'm not gonna entertain a motion to go into an executive session. And once we've done that, and we're gonna take a break then, so she can.
No, Neil had asked me about it, one-on-one.
So
Item B,
excuse me?
item B.
It's pushed to next month.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, I got pushed next month, I apologize. Right here in my notes. Sorry. I'll now entertain a motion to go in an executive session. Somebody has to make a motion.
I make a motion that we go into executive session.
President, second. Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right,